Hey,
Hello, sir. How are you today? I think
hey.
we need to talk about something important.
Oh, what did you?
Now, we all know that Marjorie Taylor Greene said that horrible thing about the adoptive mother not being a real mother because she didn't give
Oh my
birth.
God, yeah, yeah.
Well, apparently, she stuck her foot up her mouth again, and in a tweet about school shootings. And basically said that the only way for us to stop school shootings is to tackle mental health and deal with
Tackle it, yeah, tackle it with handcuffs, yeah.
and deal with America's inherent evil.
Anyone who's not Christian.
She just
Yep.
said the
Well,
evil.
yeah, well, we're evil because we're pedophiles and rapists and shit.
You know,
We
how do you attack evil? Do you
beheaded.
do you have an AR-15 loaded with holy water?
Frozen bullets, frozen holy water. There you go.
Or
Probably
plastic
shouldn't have
hollow
given that out.
tips. Plastic hollow tips so that when they explode, the holy water goes inside them. Clear it,
Oh,
you know, purifying them, so to speak.
yeah, okay. Next.
But, it just amazes me.
Well,
How
but language like that makes
stupid.
people say those crazy things. Like we just said, they start talking like that, and then it becomes, something else.
Yeah, I mean, this is the same woman who said, we have Jewish space lasers and, a good guy with a gun will stop a bad guy with a gun every time. In the meantime, you had 400 guns outside of Uvalde and didn't stop shit.
Right, but when are some of these citizens that believe in some of this crap that they're spouting, when it's become their last straw and they begin to take things in their own hands? Now here they are trying to take their country back. You know what I mean? And if you think about it, would you blame them if the country, if our fucking Democratic Congress was doing child sacrifices and eating kids and shit? I would hope that somebody would be doing something about that. But
I
at what
agree. I
point
agree.
does somebody really begin to believe it that, but then at that point, who do you blame? The crazy person that did it or the one that convinced them that it was real?
Well, you can't blame transgenderism or mental health or even evilness on what's going on. Evil
Yeah.
and all those things have one thing in common: is they can get their hands on the guns. That's it. And to sit here and say, well, we know that the type of gun that's committing mass murders in this country is, readily available, but we don't think that's the issue. We think it's the people getting them. So instead of stopping the wrong people from getting them, we're going to clear mental health instead.
And in all honesty, it's both. Both of those are true. They really are. But with one of them, you can just slap a little regulation on there and you fixed it. Because you could do a background check or something like that. It's something.
Raise the age.
Yeah, that's another thing. Raise the age. And there's no banning involved in that. Fuck, let's try something. Try before we go to a ban, if that's the case. But I bet you that a cooling off period when it comes to certain types of weapons, or all of them for that matter, just because you want it, you find that you want it, well, you get it in, whatever. You get it in background check
Don't
first.
we have the Brady bill passed that says you have to wait 7 days for a handgun?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Brady Bill's dead. Brady Bill's dead. That doesn't exist. I got mine in 20 minutes. I shopped around the store while my background check was being done, and I left. They walked my ammo and my gun up to the register. I paid for it. They handed it to me. I left.
Maybe it's for a permit then. Permit to carry.
I don't even know. But now, like my state, I can have open carry now. I don't need a permit.
Which is what?
Texas is yeah.
Wait. Don't you need a
still carry no
regular? Don't you need a regular gun permit to register the gun?
No, I don't have anything. No.
That's crazy, dude.
No.
So you could give your gun to someone else. They could kill someone.
I could hand it to someone else. But they would come after me because that's the last person that was that weapon was registered to me when I bought it.
So you do register.
If it's used in a crime, and the weapon is yes.
No, that's what I didn't understand.
Yeah, I bought it from a store. I went to a sporting goods store and bought it through there. So yeah.
And they do a registration right there?
I'm assuming so. I don't know, to be perfectly honest with you. I really don't know. I know I had a background check on it, but I've had, I was at the airport, I've FBI checks.
Right.
So I knew that was a good.
Other than a standard issue, I've never bought a gun, so I have no idea.
But I shouldn't be able to buy my weapon and ammo at the same time. Like if I buy the weapon at Sam's Sporting Goods, okay, I shouldn't be able to, for like a week, be able to go down to Walmart or Army, Navy, or whatever and buy ammo anywhere.
Okay.
Like my marijuana card, because my medical card, it goes on my amount that I consume. So if I go to one store, it's in the registry in Arkansas. So they can do that. So if I go to another place and I'm out of my allotment, I can't get more.
Right, and they, as you were saying, they do the same thing in the medical field with medicine. If you go to a doctor and he prescribes you, let's say, an opioid, like hydrocodone or oxycodone or some shit like that, you can't then 2 days later go to another doctor and get another prescription because they look it up and say, hey, you just got yours yesterday or 2 days ago. Now, if they can do that with an entire medical field, why can't they do it with weapons?
Yeah.
Firearms.
Yeah, it goes under your name, your driver's license, something. Sure. Yeah.
Even pharmacies.
And no one else ever has to see that information. It can just come up as a flag. So the person at the other end doesn't need to see your address. Well, they probably see you because you went to it, but still, other information doesn't need to be seen.
All they have to do is put a flag on it and tell you how long. Like, I'm sorry, sir, you've been flagged for the next 7 days. Sorry.
Yeah,
okay, I'll be back in 7 days.
Come back. Exactly. Yep. Or there needs to be a cool-off period. So someone that is in a domestic situation, or whatever, or even in a desperate situation by whatever means. Help has to be another option.
I personally don't think that anyone who's been convicted of a domestic incident should be allowed to carry.
I'm not even sure. It depends on. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about them even being able to possess a weapon under a domestic situation that they were actually potentially incarcerated for. That was violent enough for that. Yeah.
I think.
Any act of violence to some degree, I know it depends on the situation, but there should be stricter, firmer things with that. Violent crimes, stuff like that.
Right.
But we also need to be careful how we hand out felonies, too.
Well, I assumed that most felons are not allowed to get a gun.
I don't think any can. But I don't think that's necessarily should be the case either. Because if you had a white-collar crime that didn't involve a weapon, Why do I give a fuck if you have a gun or not? That's fine.
Well, see, this is the reason I say something is
You
because
commit armed robbery, you shouldn't carry a weapon ever.
there was this man who shot a 6-year-old and her father and tried to shoot the mother and the neighbor. And then he fled, and it turns out he was an already convicted felon, and but yet he still had access to firearms. That should not be happening.
Right, exactly. I agree.
And so even if there is a law, something has to be done to what's the word I'm looking for, to enforce that law. They need to actively, or proactively enforce that law. Do felony checks on people. Hey, listen, I know you're not on probation, or parole, and I know you've been out for like 10 years, but we just want to make sure that there's no firearms in the house, and we'll leave you alone. And do that on a random, random.
Hi.
Where did you get a mountain lion?
Right over there.
Ah.
No, this is my snakeskin cat. He looks like he's got snakeskin. He's got a really cool pattern.
So Marjorie Taylor Greene's been blowing her mouth off. And apparently Lauren Boebert is in the hot seat again for some stuff that she did. And thank God for people like Congressman Raskin.
Yeah, I've been watching him go up one side down and down the other, both of them pretty well.
Even though
another
he's
new guy as well.
Even though he's facing some heavy duty medical treatment, he's able to still step in there and go, I don't give a shit, you people are wrong.
Right. And fact them. And tell them the facts and bring the paperwork. Yeah, buddy. I like that. Here they are trying to, anyway, what you're saying.
Like Marjorie Taylor Greene, when she said that when she was in 11th grade, that Biden passed a gun-free school zone law. And after it was passed, somebody came in with 4 guns and shot up her school, and there was no one there to stop it. In the meantime, at that time that she was in 11th grade, Biden wasn't president. He wasn't a vice president. He was just a senator. And that bill was passed. That bill was passed after the shooting in her school, not before.
Right.
So she's just up there twisting facts left and right. And how anyone...
They keep their base confused. They don't know what side's up, and then they just say blame, blame, blame. It works because now they have a way to release their pent-up anger because they don't even know if they're mad at it. They're mad at flying monkeys and shit, stuff that doesn't exist.
Well, apparently there was a poll amongst Republicans, an unofficial poll, and they asked that now that Trump has lost his defamation and sexual assault case, do you think that should lower his chances of making president? And majority of the Republicans said, no, we don't care.
Yeah, his numbers went up.
That's crazy. That's crazy. You sexually assault someone and you get a popularity boost.
Yeah. And he brought another 5 more or whatever victims into it to need to give their testimony.
I believe there's somewhere between 11 and 15 other women.
Yeah, I've heard that number before. It's appalling. It's crazy. It just is. I understand why they didn't convict him on the rape thing. I guess I could get that. But I don't know. I think if they went that far with the other 2 charges, they should have went the other extra little tiny bit.
I agree. I mean, how do you justify sexual assault without
I'm not committing the rape? Yeah, I know. Because that's sexual assault.
Right.
What did they do? What did he do? Everything but, Yeah, okay. You know. Yeah,
Just because he grabbed him by the kitty doesn't make it rape. That's ridiculous.
well, that even more so makes it rape. You know. Exactly. That's the point proved right there.
And what I don't get is all these women are coming forward, including Stormy Daniels. And Marla, or not Marla, what the hell is his wife's name?
Oh, not Ivanka. Ivanka? I don't know.
No, that's his
Whatever. Yeah.
daughter. Might as well be his wife, but
Yeah, right. I know. I get the two confused. Whatever. I can't keep track.
but why is
Whatever.
his wife?
Yeah, go ahead.
Why is she still with him? It can't be for the money. She's a model. She makes her own money.
Yeah, but I bet you the legal shit that she signed to marry him, she gets none of his money. Or none of his name or Melania. None of his other stuff, So she's in it for other reasons. Yeah. He's got nice places to live. She don't have to live in Mar-a-Lago. She can go wherever the hell she wants to. Trump would be stupid to divorce her. So she could do whatever she wants to. She's probably fucking every pool boy that's on every property he's got.
Now, I did hear something a little bit ago about this upcoming trial in New York, in Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
That one of the things that proposed is that he can't do business in Manhattan or in the state of New York for X amount of time.
Well, that's what the Southern District of New York case is going to do.
Is that going to shut down his Trump? Is that going to shut down his Trump towers?
I would imagine it would. Yeah. Or vastly, vastly hurt any business dealings he may have or even conduct in the state, which is saying something. That's a big deal. It would definitely cripple him. Because that's where his empire is. It's in New York. He only lives in Mar-a-Lago. He's not a Floridian. He is a New Yorker. Born and raised in Queens. He's a New Yorker. And all his eggs are in that basket. And he's about to have that basket with a lock put on it. So, yeah. Karma's a bitch.
True. So what I'd like to see is him in a red jumpsuit.
Orange would be fine. It's matching.
Yeah, but if it's orange, it'll match his skin. You'll never be able to find him.
Yeah, but he won't be able to get that spray on makeup. He'll be like, what, gray? Or that purpley kind of color that old people get.
Can you imagine him being gray with his comb over gone?
His face is fucking purple. It's not even white. It's like purple, like a zit that's about to pop.
Well, I say that we need to bring ethics back into politics. We need to bring and we need a civilian ethics board, not hired by the government, not paid for by any specific party.
Yeah. Completely realistically independent.
That could say, hey, this is bullshit, or that's bullshit, or call out, Biden on his bullshit.
But you know what? Those things always get corrupt. Who puts them in? Who's responsible for making sure those people are replaced when the time comes with the appropriate people? So there's got to be, I don't know the foolproof way to do it. The more I think about it, it's hard. Like the Supreme Court, that we thought it's infallible. It's not. You can ask them questions and they can just simply lie. There's no consequences once they're in the Supreme Court land. Then they could. It doesn't matter if they committed perjury or not. There's nothing that's going to happen.
You want my answer?
That we can't fix that either.
Well, I say who the people who should be eligible are anyone does not have a criminal record. Anyone. I don't care how old you are.
So does Clarence Thomas have a criminal record?
I don't give a shit about Clarence Thomas. I'm talking about this ethics committee.
Mm-hmm. You can get people that don't have anything wrong in their records. They should be free of religion. That should be one question. Can you separate any beliefs you hold and keep it out?
Yeah, but aren't the Supreme Court justices asked the same question and they all answer yes?
I know, that's what I mean. How are you going to make this system where you hold someone accountable? So they have to make a ruling based on religion. Guess what? They're gone. We need a system like that in place. When you violate what we put you in there for, because, oh, well, now you're in this position, you can do what the fuck you want to. No. We need a rule in place. And we probably need somebody else to boss it down. You know what I mean? So I don't know how you do it and it makes ethical sense. You know, to force people to do just the right thing. It's not hard. Why is it hard to do the right thing? I don't get it. I think it's easy, to be honest with you. It's so much easier to be, an honest type person. Think about the last time you told a lie and how fucking hard you might have had to maintain that lie, carry it through to its end, you know, and it's too much. It's complicated. But if you tell the truth about shit, I'm not trying to be whatever. I'm just saying that it makes sense. It's just, okay, so you might lose friends. So, you kept your integrity. I think that's more important.
But still, I think it should just be maybe random lottery.
Maybe like how we pick jurors.
Yeah.
Something like that. Here's your time, it comes up. And you don't serve on these committees forever. You serve on them for a short amount of time. I would say like, your job is held. If you're in a critical job and they can't afford to lose you, you can get out. I could. There's something there. That's a direction. I like that.
I would put them in a term, they serve one presidential term, so that they're 4 years and then they're up. Even if the guy gets reelected, they put a whole new group in there for ethics.
I don't know. I don't think anyone should be comfortable in a position like that. Think about it. The more comfortable they get with a position like that, it opens up the door for someone not doing the right thing. But I think if you're constantly filling that spot, and these people know that this is what they're doing an ethical thing, they can be ethical for a while, a few months, 6 months or something like that. But I think after a while, it may get lost in the noise of the job that you have to do.
Yeah, but I think the problem with having it 6 months or something,
I'm just throwing out an arbitrary number.
I know, but what I'm saying is, once you decide that there's an ethics breach, you still have to have a hearing and present your evidence to the Congress. So you can't. There's no way you can do that in 6 months.
But once you figure out something like that, you do it like you do a grand jury. You pick people to serve on that and run that. Just like you do on the jury, you randomly pick new people. They're going to run all that and get that done. And you leave your ethics to find, spot, and deal with that. You pick other people to prosecute, fix, and repair, damage control on the other end. But the only time you have those people is when the ethics people find problems. They send their information collected to another group of people that finishes the job, does a deeper inspection, and so on and so forth. I don't know. More people need to understand the process. More people need to be like, oh, that's what happens. And people have to pass, security checks and things like that. People do have to be able to handle privacy and not talk about what they see, because other people's privacy is maybe involved. So yeah, there's other criteria than just simply picking a number. You might pick a number and that person's not suitable. You got to pick another number.
That's where the jury selection comes in.
Mm-hmm. Or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Nothing's perfect, but I think both of the things we say should would give merit, and at least it's a starting point. It's a framework, something to build off of. But I agree with you. We do need something like that, especially in our judiciary. Maybe even Supreme Court have their own that's a little bit different than the rest for whatever reason. You know, but we need transparency in all of our levels of government for as much as we can securely be allowed to know. You know what I mean? You've been in the military. You at least understand the need for, for national security. I get it too.
Right. Do you just a note before we go? I was watching an interview with some MAGA voters, and the question was asked: if you had to choose between Biden or Putin, which would you choose? And their answer was Putin, because he's in it for his country, and Biden is not.
But some people too, it's like they will never vote for blue. It doesn't matter who the candidate is. They'll never, ever, ever vote for blue.
People in Russia wouldn't vote for Putin. Why would Americans? He's like, that's,
Elections are actually rigged. That's a rigged election.
I don't doubt it. All right, my friend, that pulls us to the end again.
Yeah. All right, man.
It's nice. It's been real. It's been nice. It's actually been real nice this time.
Good night.
So I'll see you all in the funny papers.